Do you know what it means to kick the bucket? Of course you do. It means to die. But do you know where this phrase came from? Well, legend has it that in medieval times, when people were executed by hanging, they would often stand on a bucket before the noose was placed around their neck. When the bucket was kicked away, the person would be hanged. That sounds right. But what if I told you that back in colonial America, people used to store their water in large wooden buckets? Sometimes these buckets would get infested with mosquitoes or other pests. To get rid of them, people would kick the buckets over and spill the water. Of course, this also meant that they had no water left to drink, and without water, they would soon die of dehydration. Yeah, okay, it's not my best work. It's the hanging one. But let's face it, both of these origin stories are pretty interesting. In each episode, I'll go head-to-head with a celebrity guest, taking turns trying to persuade each other that our origin story is the real one. And sometimes it will be, but sometimes history needs a little humor. I'm Andrew Keenan-Bolger, and this is That Sounds Right. Y'all, we have a real treat for you because our guest on the pod today is none other than Ellyn Marsh. She is a multi-talented Broadway actress, comedian, and podcasting queen. She has appeared on The Great White Way and Kinky Boots, Pretty Woman, The Rose Tattoo, Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, and Enron in the films Better Nate Than Ever, and is the co-creator of the very funny digital series Turning the Tables. You can find her on your podcast app as the co-host of the amazing true crime podcasts, I Think Not, Obsessed with Disappeared, and Robbie and Ellen Solve the Case. And according to the internet, has size 5 feet and a net worth of $15 million. Please welcome Ellyn Marsh.
All of those things are true.
They're all true.
15 million?
$15 million. That, look.
Could you imagine?
Could you imagine having $15 million and agreeing to come on this podcast?
Yeah. They're like, she has $15.
Wait, are your feet actually size 5?
No, but like also, why is that marketable information?
Why is that on the internet when I Google you and it's like, would you also like to know Ellyn Marsh's foot size?
They were like, you know what? People send her shoes.
You know what? People hear your voice and they're like, I can tell she has sexy feet.
Yeah, they were like, what shoes could I send? No, I'm an 8. I'm a perfectly normal size human. Do you have size 5 feet?
No, I have size 8.5 feet. If anyone wants to update my male wiki feet score.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like it. Yeah. I feel like that's we. Is that we for a man?
I would say I'm like pretty standard to small.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not a size 5. So if anyone cares to send me Louboutins, it's size 8. Thanks.
Please don't send her tiny Barbie shoes.
Well, thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh, Ellyn, I love when folks from the Broadway community have added hyphenates to their titles and have branched out beyond being an interpreter to also being a creator. Can you tell me like what inspired you to take that step and start creating your own stuff?
I don't know. I mean, I guess when the internet started, I just started being like insufferable on the internet and just tried to like see what sticks. And always just kind of like having an idea and being a yes man, I guess, you know, like with Turning the Tables, like I just was like, oh, you know what is so funny is auditioning. And then I just texted a bunch of our funny friends and funny Broadway people. And I was like, I kind of have this funny idea. I think it's just doing it. Mm-hmm. And I read Amy Poehler's book, Yes, Please. Yeah. And she says if 5% of what you do is funny or interesting, you're winning.
Oh, wow.
So it's like if you just throw it all at the wall and see what sticks, someone's going to laugh at you, sometimes with you. I don't know. You're a creator, too. What made you started doing all that stuff?
I mean, I think a lot of it is fear that when it is good, it is going to go away.
Yeah.
And which is maybe not the most healthy approach to be like, wow, I'm in a Broadway show, like this could disappear at the drop of a hat, to use a common idiom. what could I possibly be doing? Because I think at the end of the day, as when you're an actor, the idea of unstructured time is so terrifying to me.
Yeah.
To be like, oh, now I have 7 months where I have no idea what I'm doing.
Well, that's what was so hard about the pandemic was not having structure.
Yeah, my
not
gosh.
having a schedule because I can't be left to my own devices.
No.
I need
it's
someone,
a goldfish.
Yeah. If someone's like, do you want to do this? I'm like, yeah, but tell me when you need it. And they're like, whenever. I'm like, no, but say a deadline because I need that.
Yeah. I am exactly the same way. But one thing that you and I also have in common is our absolute obsession with true crime. It is seriously, it's the only way that I can fall asleep every night is by like listening to someone, preferably with like a very gentle voice.
So not me.
Well, yeah. Well, you know what I will say? It is usually the people with a gentle voice talking about the gruesome murders that I fall asleep to, which your podcasts make me cackle when I listen to them at night. And I have had to move them. They have shifted over from like nighttime listens to gym and or Subway.
Or morning. Well, Rabia, my partner, I mean, her voice is like
very
butter.
soothing. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
A voice made for NPR.
Yeah, her voice is like liquid gold. And I'm like a colonoscopy. I am like, ugh. But we balance each other out.
What was your what is your origin story of being a true crime obsessed?
I have always, do you remember the Blockbuster on 8th Avenue?
On 8th and like 51st or something? Yeah.
I used to go there and get like true crime documentaries.
No way.
Like I guess that was like around, remember when you had to order Netflix and wait for it to come?
Yeah.
I used to go there and go to the true crime section. I've always been fascinated with true crime, which a lot of people's true crime fascination started with Serial, which is so full circle back to Rabia.
And you're like, oh, honey, if you can't love me for my forensic files. Like,
yeah. I mean, and I was always like that kid that when I saw a movie, I would guess the end.
Yeah.
Or I would like super annoying. Like, how annoying is that? But I would always be like, well, this happened. And my brothers would be like, shut the up. I don't know if we can curse on this podcast.
We can bleep it. Go for it.
And so I've always just kind of like loved puzzles and mysteries and things like that. And so I love true crime. Like I remember watching Dear Zachary, which is like an old documentary. And then when the podcasting genre of true crime took off, I was like, well, yeah, that's what I want to do. And
you're like, they need like a brassy soprano with a lot of chutzpah.
Forward ping.
Yeah.
And then, I grew up in the Bay Area. And so.
Oh my God. Yeah. Just.
Zodiac and then Scott Peterson. I was riveted to the Scott Peterson trial. And so, yeah. What about you? Well, you like the gory stuff?
I do. There is something completely that I can detach from any of, which is actually. I mean, sort of complicated because I know it's the worst day of all of these people's lives, but there is something sort of like weirdly comforting. I think because just statistically, it would be weird at this point if I were murdered because people would be like, that's so weird. Like,
way to get
Andrew
murdered.
Loved true crime. Like, isn't that wild that he got murdered? So I think it is just me preventatively, statistically, it would be a coincidence. So I think I'm not going to get murdered because I like it too much.
Yeah, I beg to diff.
Oh, you think I'm like fully...
Well, because you know
the Dumbo Strangler is coming for me.
No, but like, you know how they say like everyone who gets murdered like lit up a room? So like statistically, you light up a lot of rooms. You have the free spirit too.
Oh my!
I don't know. I mean, best of luck. I will cover it lovingly, but the number one way to get murdered is say you're not going to get murdered.
Well, at least I am lucky that I have a deep trove of Instagram photos that they can use for whatever documentary they want to make about me. Y'all have at it.
Yeah, and they're very teal.
Yeah, it's incredibly aesthetic.
Yeah.
So that sounds right. Is all about storytelling and occasionally telling some lies. Ellyn, have you ever told a lie?
No.
You've never told a lie?
No, everything is factual. Of
All
course
right.
I've lied. If anyone says they haven't lied, they're
I'm
lying.
an actress.
I think the average person lies like a couple times a day.
Yeah, we gotta.
Yeah, I have not lied today. Is that true? That's probably a lie. I don't know. Yeah.
Can you give me a good lie that you've told recently?
Well, being a parent,
Oh, sure.
is a constant barrage of storytelling. Lying. I lied when Lola went through my iMessages and she saw my iMessages. I lied when she found out that Santa Claus was real, was not real, was a big day.
Oh, honey.
Yeah.
Will you tell me about it?
Well, first of all, a small monster told her at the bus stop.
Oh,
so,
come on.
Yeah, that kid will definitely be on a Dateline special if I have anything to say about it. But so Lola was like asking questions because I don't think she wanted to believe what this kid said.
Mm-hmm.
So I was trying to gauge if I could eke another year out of Santa Claus because it's fun.
Oh, come on. It's the best.
We're not religious or anything, but Christmas is fun. So then she was like, so is he real? And I was like, well, he's more of a feeling. And she's like, wait, a person is a feeling? I was like, because then also being a parent is just seeing, be like, did you buy that?
Yeah.
And she's like, wait, a person can be a feeling? And I was like, mm-hmm. And she's like, so what person is the feeling of sadness? And I was like, Nona. And that's my mom.
Yes,
and I was like, and she's like, wait, Nona is sadness? And I was just talking myself in a circle. And she was like, wait, each person is a feeling? And I was like, yep.
You're like, this is a very tortured metaphor, but we're going with it.
It was so bad. If I could take it all back. And she's like, so a person is happiness? I was like, yep.
Sure is. Yeah, Lola.
And I was like, okay, so Santa Claus isn't really real. He lives inside you. And I was like, it was
This isn't going great.
bad. And she's like, there's a man inside me. I was like, you know what, honey?
Oh, no.
It is not real. It is not real. And she's like, well, what about all the Santa Clauses we see? I'm like, no, not real. Because I just told my child that there is an old man inside her. And
wait till the kids at the bus hear about this
it
one.
was so pear-shaped. And I was just trying to hold on to that childhood innocence. And I ended up scarring her and paying for way more therapy.
I think that's parenthood in a nutshell.
Yeah.
And you're doing great, sweetie.
Thank you. If anyone wants to reach out for parenting hacks,
Here comes the podcast.
here's
All right, should we get into the game?
I love games.
Okay. So here are the rules. Each of us is going to draw a card with an idiom or a common phrase written on it, along with its origin story. We each get 5 minutes to review the actual origin, make some notes, and decide if we're going to be telling the real story or if we can do one better than history and make one up. Either way, we have to convince the opponent that our story is the real one. We're going to take a short break so we can get to thinking, and when we come back, we'll take turns separating the fact from the funny. Ellyn, I'm going to kick us off here and tell you about the backstory of the common phrase, close, but no cigar.
Ooh, tell me more.
Close,
Tell
but
me
no
more.
cigar. Well, I think I will front load this by just making the declaration that musicals have absolutely saved my butt in history class.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I have learned so much from cast recordings that when then I had to learn about them in school, I'm like, oh yeah, I got this. And one of those specific time periods that I'm like, you know what, I think we're actually good, is the Great Depression. And it is because of the musical Annie.
Yeah.
So here is what I learned about the Great Depression from Annie. There's a serious economic downturn, which led to widespread job loss. Also, Herbert Hoover, I believe, was the president at the time during the Great Depression.
I only know that because of the song.
That very shady song. But also, FDR is there at the end. And you're like, wait, who's president here? The details not important. But one of the great things about the Great Depression is not only did it give us a Great Depression, it also gave us the phrase close but no cigar. So come back with me, if you will, to the Great Depression. We're talking stock market crash. We're talking a dust bowl. Like a giant bowl of dust in this economy. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
We're talking bread lines. Definitely bread lines. And just people on hard times. But do you know what is not on hard times? Musical theater.
No.
Yep, we're right back to musical theater. Musical theater was thriving. People were using it as like absolute escapism because, like, you know what? You're hungry. You lost your job. You know what's going to make you feel better?
Musicals.
A kick line.
Yeah. Always.
Always a kick line. It's always going to cheer you up. And one of the big writing teams at that point were Rodgers and Hart.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you know any Rodgers and Hart songs?
Boys from Syracuse.
Boys from Syracuse, yes. They wrote songs that like people would know, like My Funny Valentine or like The Lady is a Tramp. And one of their most famous songs at the time was a song called Close, but no cigar. And it was from their 1920s review, The Broke-a-Leggers.
Yeah.
That's the name of the review. It says it right here. And it was written as sort of a social commentary song, as songs were very wont to do in back in those days. And it was because there was rationing of tobacco during the Great Depression as World War II was gearing up, and they were needing to save tobacco for the troops. And so it meant that people who had typically smoked cigars had to move over to these very skinny little white things, cigarettes.
Oh, I thought you were going to say twinks. Okay. I'm so sorry.
You know, it's a twink. It's close, but
it's a twink.
No cigar.
Okay.
So the song Close But No Cigar is honestly not a song I have ever heard. And I think because it was so grounded in the time that people, I can picture people, though, dancing to that, like, a little close, but no cigar. A little close, but it's no cigar. It's a cigarette. It's no cigar. It's like a twink. It won't fill you up. Yeah, that's disgusting. We might have to cut that.
It's close, but no cigar. Take me in your car.
No cigar. And so originally it was really written as meaning literally it's close, but literally no cigar. But it came to mean something that really, it meant it almost succeeded, but it's not quite successful or correct. And since then, everyone has basically forgotten that hit song, Close But No Cigar.
Yeah.
But they have remembered the idiom forever.
Yeah. Can I ask you a follow-up question?
Absolutely.
2 parts?
2 parts.
Stage version of Annie or movie with Carol Burnett?
Oh, okay. Maybe unpopular opinion. I'm going with the 1998 made-for-TV ABC movie starring Victor Garber as Daddy Warbucks and Audra McDonald as Grace and Kathy Bates as Miss Hannigan. That is like truly what I was raised on. The look, if you guys cannot see a look on a podcast, Ellyn is completely speechless. I have answered this one incorrectly.
I just want to talk to your parents. At this point, I want to talk to your parents. The fact that your mind went to Kathy Bates instead of Carol Burnett, your gay card is taken away, and your Broadway card is taken away. Maybe your last name, because the Keenan Bolger last name holds some gravitas.
But I will take my gay card back slightly by saying Kristen Chenoweth and Ellen Cumming as Rooster and Lily St. Regis.
You're not going to win this. No.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say best song in the movie.
Oh, and we got Annie.
Okay.
She's leaving. She's
go.
a good person.
I feel like I made a mistake today because it's signed.
What about Dumb Dog?
No,
I am just okay. Well, we're not seeing eye to eye on this, but
bonus. I mean, it's. I just, you know what? I'm just gonna say I have a different opinion of you than I did 20 minutes ago.
All right. Well, I think this was a 2-part question. So,
the part was movie or play, and then best song. Those were the 2 parts, and you failed both.
Well, I guess
Luckily, you're cute because that's all you have going for you at this point.
But those dulcet tones of Audra singing the Sun Will Come Out Tomorrow reprise, written specially for the ABC version.
Okay.
No?
All right.
No,
well,
we've got nothing. Okay, so if you had to guess if that is the indeed real origin of the phrase "close but no cigar," would you say that sounds right or that sounds wrong?
That sounds wrong. but you're very cute.
Dang it. Yes, that is correct. That is not right. No, I made that up. So do you want to know the actual phrase?
I really do,
Okay,
actually.
so the phrase originated in the United States during the 20th century. It was common for carnivals and fairgrounds to be targeted towards adults instead of children, and the games would offer cigars as prizes when players won. And when they didn't win, the coworker would say, close, but no cigar.
Okay, you want me back with the accent. You want me back with the accent.
The 1920s carny man. Yeah, so that's the real one, which is actually pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I liked your story.
Well, thank you. We're going to take a break, and we will be back with Ellyn's version of the story.
All right. I am going to tell you about the expression caught red-handed.
Ooh.
Now, there were a couple things in this explanation that filled in the blank for me, but I am going to tell you where it's from. And the reason I know this is because this is something, you know, those like cheesy bus tours, like the double-decker bus tours?
Yeah, yeah.
So when I went backpacking in Europe, that was like the best way to not only like see a city at first, but like actually like have a taxi. You know what I mean? So every time I go to a city with like friends or family, it's sort of like a family joke that we do like a cheesy bus tour.
A little double-decker?
A little double-decker. So my ex-husband is from England, and the first time my brother came to London, we took one of these double-decker tours, and they give you all the information, you know, they take you to all the places. So the term caught red-handed is because in like the late 1800s, the queen was like super opulent, and you know, all of the phone booths were painted black. And at the time, like, you know, the like cool like British phone booths or whatever. Yeah. And just around Buckingham Palace and like just around like London proper, she was like, paint them all red. Because like any colored paint was like the sign of wealth, because everything was, the paint was like lead based. It was literally like painting like lead on shit. Like no wonder people died when they were like 35, you know? So the people that like the poorer sections of London got really, really upset because they're like, you have money, we don't have money. Yeah. Like the caste system was like so off at that time, right? Yeah. So they had planned to like have a whole like people like infiltrate this like area and paint the phone booths back to black. Okay. Small problem with that is because like the paint couldn't go over whatever they had like made the red paint with, like blood. No, but like whatever they had like made.
It was like a high gloss finish.
Yeah. It was like a little bit of like
you're going to need to do like a little sand
because, you know, if you have to go the Benjamin Moore.
Yeah, you got to do a primer first, honey.
Yeah. So their plan didn't work because the black couldn't go over the red. They're like, okay, great, let's regroup. So then they were like, let's start over. And they put something to like strip the red another like night or like a week later or whatever when their plan got foiled. They had another. They were like, okay, great, let's strip the red. So they ended like scraping and like getting the red to repaint it black, like in the middle of the night when like nobody could see them, right? So then the next day they wake up and like half of the phone booths are painted black. And they're like, what's going on? We just spent all these pounds to paint these red. And the way that they went around and found them was because the people then had dyed hands and like dyed fingernails and cuticles. So anyone who had, like, they would go around like door to door and insist on seeing people. And if they found anyone, and it was like dyed, like you were like, this was like days.
Meanwhile,
like,
there's some lady, she's like, I promise, I was just eating those flaming hot Cheetos.
Those flaming hot Cheetos dyed my fingers. No, but that's how they found people, because it would like stay for days and it was like all in their skin. And you know how they really caught them was like in their cuticles and stuff, because they couldn't get it out. And then the queen was like, off with your head and paint them all red again. And then they like, I think they stayed red for forever. But that is how the phrase caught red-handed was created, inspired, because if that's how you were caught, you were caught.
Yeah, you were caught.
You were caught red-handed.
You were caught red-handed. Yeah. Oh man, I mean, do you have any like, is there like a pop culture reference that you can think of where someone has used that phrase, caught red-handed?
I mean, I guess the whole Vanderpump Sandoval thing.
Oh yeah,
Like they
definitely
were caught
red-handed.
red.
I also feel like this is a good one for you too, because I feel like there is a true crime element.
Oh, there's totally a true crime element. And it's like all about like, it's so funny because my daughter's doing Urinetown right now, and it's all about the uprising and the poor not
Eat the rich.
taking it from the rich. And they're like, you have money to paint these phone booths, but we're eating tuppence. I don't know. What do they eat?
Also that like the Queen has like some forensic scientists going around like inspecting like all the splatter on people's
but
hands.
it was like so obvious because I don't remember like what the red was. Maybe it was like berries or something.
I like that they also fully go to paint it black and then it doesn't work and they're like, you know what, our way out of this is to like fully paint Chip
like
in the middle of the night. Like this is going great.
They're like whatever I'm sure they're using like some horrible like turpentine.
It's not great.
Or like moonshine or something.
Okay, I am going to guess there's no possible way that this is not true. So I'm going to go with that sounds right. That is right.
No, it's a lie. It was a total lie.
You are freaking kidding me.
I know, it's
Ellyn
a total lie. I
Marsh,
didn't even read it.
Are you freaking serious? Also, folks, we were at like the 3-minute mark. 2 minutes had elapsed and she's like, I'm done. And like crossed her hands. I was pausing. Are you serious?
I didn't even read the true story.
You little liar. Oh my gosh. Wait, what is the real one?
The real one is caught red-handed originates from Scotland near the 15th century. The phrase red-handed or red hand refers to people being caught with blood on their hands from a murder or poaching. The first documented mention of red hand is in the Scottish Acts of Parliament, James 1, written in 1432. That offender be taken red hand. Oh, they like give the where it's mentioned.
Oh, okay.
And the pop culture reference, it wasn't me. Honey, I came in and caught me red-handed creeping with the girl next door. That makes sense. Oh, and there's an additional fact. I didn't even get to
pages.
I didn't even get to the second page. What's the additional fact? Oh, I don't know. But to be caught doing something illegal or bad, but that's the real thing. But
wow.
Yeah.
I refuse to believe that is your version actually is much better.
Right?
Come
I didn't
on.
even read it. I was like, I don't want to know what the real thing is.
Oh my God. Okay, well, usually, even though this is such an obvious slay on Ellyn's part, because she not only guessed mine incorrect, but then fooled me, I think we should still play a little sudden death anyway.
Okay.
Just because we have those buzzers right there.
Okay.
Okay, so here are the rules for this. For sudden death, for this run, our producer is going to read us an obscure and very strange law. And we each have a buzzer, and the first one to buzz in gets to guess if that sounds right or if she's totally lying.
Got it.
Okay, grab your buzzer. They have been specially programmed with special Ellyn Marsh sayings, if you want to say it into the microphone.
I hit it?
Yeah.
Hello, sis. Hello, sis.
Is that you?
That's me doing it. Yeah.
Hello, sis.
What is it?
Is that pull over, sis? Is that
pull over, sis?
Yeah. Is that an Ellyn Marsh expression?
I don't know. Is it?
Oh my God.
Oh, pull over, sis, like pull over from my podcast.
I guess I will be honest. I typed this into Etsy. You have full like fan merch that is your face and it's a decal, and underneath it says "pull over, sis."
Oh, because on our podcast, whenever we tell something that's going to be like funny or outrageous, we don't want people to crash their cars.
Oh, pull over, sis.
So we say pull. So we say pull over. Like I don't want insurance claims with like my name on it. You know.
I was also like, thanks, Etsy. You just gave me like a free.
I love that.
Yeah, you have famous quotes. All right, and then mine is.
I don't remember ordering a glass of your opinion.
Oh my God.
Which on Etsy you can get this fully like cross-stitched in like a beautiful frame.
Oh my gosh, that is so good.
Once again, the quote is,
I don't remember ordering a glass of your opinion.
Good.
She's sassy.
Very sassy.
Where did she get so much sass?
Musicals.
Oh, music.
From Miss Hannigan being her like go-to hero as a child. Okay, so we're going to have our producer read it and then we'll buzz in.
Okay.
It is illegal in Kentucky to marry the same man more than 3 times.
Hello, sis.
That's not Allah. What do I say? It's either that sounds right
or
or
whatever. Like, no.
Is that a true law or a false law?
a false law.
Like, it's not true.
Well, it's not a true law.
It is a true law.
Oh.
Okay, you said Kentucky, and I was going to go with it, but then I thought 3 seems excessive.
3 seems excessive. Okay.
But you know what? When in doubt, always agree.
Well, it's sudden death, so I still have a chance.
Yeah.
In Columbus, Ohio,
Oh, boy.
it is illegal for stores to sell cornflakes on Sunday.
I don't remember ordering a glass of your opinion.
So sassy. I'm gonna go with that's false, because like, if there's one thing people in Columbus like, it's a cornflake.
Yeah, it's on the flag.
It's a cornflake.
It's for sure on the flag.
It's true.
Wait, what?
It's true. You can't do it. In Columbus, Ohio specifically.
Do we know anyone? Can we call someone in Columbus, Ohio?
Saeed lives in Columbus, Ohio. Get him on speaker.
That sounds preposterous.
Yeah, that's outrageous. Okay, well, we need one more. Or more.
It is a felony for a wife to open her husband's mail in Montana.
Hello, sis.
That sounds right.
It's right.
I feel like that's a felony
that's
anywhere.
Right. Yeah, that should be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
don't open that mouth.
But a felony, but understandable.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? I support it.
Especially if there's like a beautiful lipstick kiss right on the envelope.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Illegal, but shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Ellen, this means you absolutely won every
you threw
single.
You threw that last one to me.
I am telling.
I don't remember ordering a glass of your opinion.
You have absolutely won, which means you get a very special prize.
I get a prize?
Hold tight.
Andrew, there's no prizes left. We ate all the Reese's peanut butter cups while we were waiting for her because she was late.
All right, so we have some very special greeting cards.
Do I
of
pick one?
which, yeah.
Okay.
One is catered just to you.
Your graduation day is a blessing. It's a blessing to attain a goal, to achieve a dream that stirs your soul. It's a blessing to reach this day, to be honored in a special way. May God bless you. And I'm really glad we're super secular. May God bless you in all you do, and may his love shine down on you. Happy graduation.
I mean, you could maybe actually use that. I'm sure Lola will graduate
One
at
day.
some point.
I mean, listen, honestly, I'm not even being funny. Greeting cards are not cheap. They're not. They're like
well, we're pulling out all the stops
Yeah,
here.
they're like $5. And wait, can I throw something at you?
Yeah.
Okay,
please.
so I am full of useless knowledge.
Great.
Like absolutely foods that start with the letter Q. Do you know what
Okay.
I mean? And I love anyone who listens to my podcast know I love like groups of animal names.
Oh, yeah, like a dazzle of zebras.
Exactly.
Yeah.
True or false?
Oh.
That sounds right. Or Ellen, you're full of pork and beans again. A blessing is a group of narwhals. A group of
I mean, that sounds very right.
it is. A
Whoa.
blessing is a group
A
of narwhals.
blessing of narwhals.
Yeah.
Who has ever seen a single narwhal?
Let alone many narwhals
Come
to
on.
necessitate a group name. I know.
A
But-
blessing of narwhals in this economy, in the Great Depression.
In the Great Depression,
Close,
when
but no cigar.
Kathy Bates is singing songs about the Queen.
This is too much,
Yeah.
y'all. That is all for our show today. Please remember to subscribe, and if you'd like to always write us a review. These really help. Big thanks to my guest, Ellyn Marsh, who you can find on her socials, Ellyn, that's with a Y, Marsh, or on your podcast app at I Think Not, Obsessed with Disappeared, and Robbie and Ellen solved the case. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, and join us next week for another episode of That Sounds Right.